checking in for the Dobie edition, guys. The Dobie edition. I have here with me a 4-month-old female. She's actually one of my mentor's clients. She's coming out for some socialization today and some desensitizing. But young Dobie. We also have 2 other Dobies here with us today. One of my clients, Miss Angelica Ross, and then another good friend of mine's dog. Here to do some protection. We're going to do some obedience today, and we really just want to highlight and exploit the really great things about these dogs and the genetics, as well as their capabilities and intelligence. We've got one of our other master trainers here today. They're going to speak volume to not only the genetics, the trainability, and what we're able to use these dogs for, but also living and coexisting with them. He had 16 back in late 90s coming into the early 2000s. So he's going to shed some light on what it means to own, not just train a Doberman. And then we'll also do a little display of obedience and protection on each of them today for you guys, showing you just how dependable these genetics have been over time, and how these should still probably be one of America's #1 breeds in the home. It used to be. So we'll show you why today. So guys, we brought the girls over here after doing a little protection to demo their obedience, get a little exercise in, but just to show you the versatility in the breed, and then you guys will get to finally hear from Master Trainer Craig Walton, not only again about his experience training these dogs, but also owning and living with them.
Question has always been asked about the Dobermans. It was a thing back in the day that the Dobermans turned on people and things like that. The story behind the Doberman is that it's not a dog that's going to let you bully it. You have to get your commands and your different things that you want this working dog to do through love and finesse. Dobermans are heavy thinkers, probably one of the more nurturing dogs. that a person could get, but you have to know how to handle the dog. The dog is not going to let you bully it. If you do, it might come back on you. But that's with any working dog. You know, if it's a tough dog and good genetics, if you don't handle the dog right, things might not go your way. So at any rate, yeah, I've had a lot of them in the past. It was my love. I fell in love with a different breed later on in life, but I still love the Doberman. The question was asked about Doberman for personal protection. It's a fine dog. It's not a dog that you're just gonna neglect though. It's a working dog, and if you don't give it a job, then it will start to create its own job, and it might look like destruction. Probably a dozen stories I could tell you about Dobermans going in protection mode when needed, and sometimes when not needed, depending on the handler and the circumstances. So to answer the question, it's great for personal protection indoors, maybe not outdoors. We don't do too many dogs outdoors anyway when we're doing personal protection, because we want the owner to be part of the dog's whole process. So we kind of go from there.
Alrighty guys, so we have Mr. Walton here. He's been filling us in with a lot of information on the Dobies, and one of the biggest questions I get from my clients, and even past clients owning the breed, is this dog notorious for turning on their owners?
Well, again, the thing about the turning on the owners is it's all in the handling. It's all in the handling. It's not a dog that is going to allow you to bully it. So it's a couple of myths about. I've heard all kinds of things about the brain outgrowing the skull and stuff like that, and it's more or less the human. This is not a dog that you're going to neglect. Okay, so it refuses to be disciplined in any of these corporal fashions that maybe another dog might allow you to get away with.
Especially if it's unwarranted, I'm guessing.
Especially if it's unwarranted.
It's unwarranted, and then too, yeah. I guess the dog, in my experience, they already have a strong willingness to obey. That's
right.
what Mr. Walton also taught us about. So with that strong willingness to obey, it almost makes sense that when you try and beat a dog who's so willing, or try and force a dog into something that they're willing to do, it's just a lack of communication. It sounds like.
And that's what it is.
Big lack of communication on top of poor handling.
Right. So, willingness to obey is key. You're not going to force it.
I mean, I've not experienced one Dobie that hasn't shown me male versus female, European versus German, American. I feel like all Dobies at least have kept that intact across the board, which is that extreme intelligence and willingness to obey. So I can definitely agree with what Mr. Walton's saying there. Going forward, for this breed, as being big advocates, him having owned more than 12 to 16, and being a trainer and breeder, and myself having trained many of them, what I can say is that the dog is awesome in the right hands, and actually probably better suited for most people's homes and needs today. But with the bad reputation that they held in the late 90s into the 2000s, that's changed. And what we're going to do is we're going to change your guys' view on that. We got a couple Dobies in for training right now. We're going to show you not only how they can serve as protection dogs and how they are super obedient, but we actually have some that will be entering in the sport as well, so you guys can keep up for that. We appreciate Mr. Walton for his time today and his expertise for sure, and this beautiful girl here, Egypt, owned by Mr. MTA. So you guys keep an eye out for what we do with these guys.